Hey everyone, welcome to today's lesson. My name is Wes. This is Interactive English, which our channel, it's all about helping you practice and improve your English. And today is really a true practice lesson because I want you to participate. I have these questions that I'm going to ask you. And I want you to respond either in the chat or respond in the comments, even if you're watching this later, because that is such a great way to improve, is just to keep getting more and more practice. Now, what we're going to practice today we're going to practice the following: nouns and prepositions. So I am going to talk to you about nouns that are followed by certain prepositions. And these are phrases that I think are quite common, and that's what we're going to work on today. So I want to give a quick shout out to some of you who have joining me today. Hello, Aiden, Benit, Sleepwalker, Lali, Alyssa, Martina, Mary, Nino, Davika. Hello, how are you? Thank you guys for joining me. And as we go through this, again, I want you to write your answers. And I'll try to give some more shout outs as we go along. Now, the first thing that I really wanted to get to and show you is that, well, just a little recap, we're going to be talking about nouns and the prepositions that follow. And I thought this picture is relevant. I have used it before when talking about words that are followed by prepositions, but you can think about like these big ducks, these nouns, these content words that really help us put pictures in our mind, followed by these prepositions these small words that people tend to forget about sometimes. Now, I think the thing with prepositions that they are difficult in that regard is that if you make a mistake, I think most of the time people will still understand what you're trying to say. But this is all about improving your fluency so that you are speaking accurately, you are speaking correctly, or even writing correctly if that's what you're doing. Now, the best way to learn this is, this is not something you're going to just memorize all of these nouns and the prepositions that follow. I think the best way to do it is to read, to be able to see the nouns and the prepositions that follow, whether you're reading a book or the newspaper, or you're even reading these questions, because this is the other great way, is just to practice and just keep getting as much practice as you can, because that's just going to help you in the long run. So the way we're going to do this is I am going to just give you some statements or maybe a question, and there's just going to be a blank. And I want you to tell me what preposition goes in that blank. Look at the noun that comes before and think about, well, what preposition follows? If you're not sure, I would still encourage you to go ahead, answer the questions. And if you don't know, just try to do what feels right. Because like I said, chances are you have read these nouns and prepositions before. You do have it up here, even if it's not something that is yet in your active memory, which is the memory that you have where you have an ability to be able to recall this information. So even that's why I said just do what feels right if you're unsure. So let's jump into it. The first one that I have for you is this, okay? I'd like you to give a response, these questions. So that's true. This is something, I've made this the first one for a reason, because, yeah, this is what I would tell you right now. I would say, yes, I'd like you to give a response, these questions. In this context, in this sentence, you have a response. Response is a noun. What preposition do you think follows that noun? Write your answer. Let me know, because I just want to hear from you guys. Excellent. Yes, I have Lali, Mohammed, Mary, Letitia. The answer is to. You would give a response to something. And if you give a response to something, you're giving an answer. You're giving a reaction. I would like you to give a response to these questions. Write your answers in the chat. Write your answers in the comments and just participate in this activity. Good way to practice. The next one is right here. Okay. So I could say there was an increase, crime, after the budget cuts. So there was an increase, crime after the budget cuts. The noun, again, it's always going to come before those blanks. So you know that the noun we're talking about is an increase. An increase, crime. After the budget cuts, if you want to know what budget cuts are, it's when you're taking the budget, the amount of money you have, and you're cutting it. All right, you have less money. So yes, excellent. Manda, Marcel, Benit, Edelson. There was an increase in crime. There was an increase in crime after the budget cuts. So if you're talking about an increase in something, it's just, again, a rise in the amount or size of something. Most of these meanings that I'm giving you right here, it's really the meaning of the noun. But I do want to put that preposition right after it because, again, these are words that are frequently used together. An increase in something. The next one, and I think many of you, maybe you could relate to this. I do watch I do watch a fair bit of YouTube, and I say I have an addiction, YouTube. So we're talking about an addiction. We've used this word before because I think a lot of times people would use this word as the adjective, which is addicted. You are addicted, something. In that case, too, you're going to follow it with the same preposition, whether it is an adjective or a noun. In this case, we're talking about the noun, an addiction, something. So I would tell you, just say, yeah, I watch a lot of YouTube. I guess you could say, I have an addiction to YouTube. All right, so this is the preposition that would follow. You would have an addiction to something. Excellent. Luna, Darby, Angela, who else? Obed. Thank you guys for answering. You have an addiction to something. The meaning of an addiction is just when you are physically or mentally dependent on something and that you must have it. Often I think people might talk about something a bit more serious, like an addiction to drugs. Other times, like in this example, it's more just a casual. It's kind of just you're trying to say that you have too much of something, like you have an addiction to YouTube, or some people might say that they have an addiction to coffee and like, oh, I must have it. So again, physical or mental dependence on something. Let's look at the next one. I say the picture. I like that picture. This is a recipe disaster. A recipe disaster. The noun we're talking about is a recipe. So the reason I chose this one, and I tried to give you a picture to kind of represent this expression, this phrase, because it is more of an expression. But think about what preposition is going to follow that noun. This is a recipe disaster. This is an expression that I'm sure you would hear watching a movie or a TV show, and people would use it to talk about a situation just like this one. So you would say, if you're looking at that picture, you'd say, wow, this is a recipe for disaster. A recipe for something. Excellent. Gertrudis, Lolly. Perfect. So this one may be a little bit trickier, but you're talking about a recipe for something. A recipe, those are just instructions. It's talking about how to prepare food. Like my grandmother has a great recipe for chocolate chip cookies. You have a recipe for something, for food. In this case, I'm using it a little differently. We're talking about this expression, a recipe for disaster. It's talking about something that is going to have a really bad outcome. And you can say, oh goodness, this is a recipe for disaster. So let's go back to that picture. Guys riding on the front of a car, you think, well, this is not going to end well. This is a recipe for disaster. So if you're talking about a recipe for disaster, you're referring to a situation that is likely going to end badly. And you can use that expression, a recipe for disaster. But in general, if you're talking about cooking, you would say a recipe for some meal, some type of food, a recipe for something. The next one, the very common word somebody would say is congratulations. Now, if you want to give more information and really be specific about what you're talking about, you could say congratulations, like this. Congratulations, the promotion. Somebody got a promotion at work. They have a different position, which is better. Maybe they get paid more money. And somebody would say, congratulations, the promotion. You have to be careful. I have a tendency to want to say the preposition and just tell you the answer. So if you're talking about congratulations, you would say congratulations on something. Congratulations on the promotion, because when you say your congratulations, you are expressing praise for some type of achievement. Congratulations on the promotion. Oh, congratulations on the new baby. Congratulations on your marriage. Something that happened, an achievement, a great event, and you would say congratulations on this thing. Excellent. Ruber, congratulations. Darby, Aiden, excellent. Congratulations on. Nastya, thank you. Excellent. Great job. The next one. I tried to think of an example, and this is something that a lot of people in the United States, some people feel this way. So I could say much of the population supports a ban assault weapons. In the United States, the little cultural thing, Second Amendment, which is the right to bear arms, which is the same as kind of like a right to own a gun. But a big debate in the US is like, okay, well, what kind of guns are we talking about? So these guns would be very more lethal assault weapons. So much of the population supports a ban, assault weapons. So the noun that we're talking about is a ban. What preposition is going to follow that? A ban, something. So we're talking about these assault weapons. What do you think? And if you're not sure, because again, we're talking about a ban, that's a noun that may not be as commonly used as some of these other ones, but what just feels right if you're talking about? Yes, Nguyen, Abdurrahman, Stephen, excellent. You're talking about a ban on something. A ban on something is when you are either officially or legally prohibiting this thing. There is a ban on assault weapons, or maybe somebody could say there's a ban on smoking, or there is a ban on using cell phones at school. So there can be a variety of reasons why somebody would want to prohibit something, and you'd say there is a ban on this thing, a ban on something. The next one, and I think this is true, there is a strong bond, a mother and her cubs. And I found that cute little picture right there of these polar bears, a mother and her cubs. And you could say, yes, there is a strong bond, a mother and her cubs. So this one, I'll talk a little bit more about. There's a collocation in there too. So a lot of these nouns and prepositions, you could say they're collocations, which are words that are frequently used together. But I'd also add in this case that adjective, a strong bond. That is another collocation. If you're talking about a bond, you could say there is a strong bond, a mother and her cubs. So in this case, yes, most of you guys rock this one. You're talking about a bond between someone. Now, in this case, we're talking about animals, but it's the same thing. A bond between two people or groups of people. So excellent. Great job. Eddie, Kate Beck, try to throw some other names in there. Sunshine, great job. Manpreet. So a bond between a mother and her cubs. The next one, let's look at this, is, all right, we're talking about the captain. The captain has authority, his crew. What preposition is going to follow this noun? The captain has authority, his crew. What do you think? Write your answer in the chat or in the comments later. Again, I just want you to participate, practice using these prepositions. Think about that noun, authority. We're talking about the authority, his crew. All right. So I hope that you answered. The captain has authority over his crew. The captain has authority over his crew. So you could have authority over something, some situation, or you could have authority over someone, like a person or a group of people. And it's talking about the ability to control someone, or again, added some situation. The captain has the authority over his crew. That one may be a little trickier. Remember, you have authority over something or someone. All right. The next one, let's keep going. If we don't change the way we do business, we run the risk failure. All right. So you see that noun. I'm giving you these nouns. We're talking about risk. Risk, failure. If we don't change the way we do business, we run the risk, failure. Which preposition is going to follow that noun? And this is a common phrase that you might hear if people are talking about the risk, something. Excellent. Manpreet, Nino. Gosh, it's going so fast. You guys, so many people participating. I love it. Gunnar, Daniel, you're talking about the risk of something, which if we're talking about risk, it means the possibility of something bad happening. So you could talk, in that case, like I said, that's a common phrase and expression. You talk about the risk of failure. That if we don't change the way we do business, we run the risk of failure. I also wanted to highlight that, talking about that expression, to run the risk. People might say that together if they're talking about something bad that could happen. You could say, oh, we run the risk of something happening. We run the risk of failure. We run the risk of losing our license. We run the risk of something. All right, let's keep going. We have the need, speed. I put this picture of, this is a reference to a movie from the 1980s. 1986, I believe, was the year. And this is a phrase from that movie, a statement from that movie. We have the need, speed. And it was a movie about these guys, they're flying these jets. Bonus points if you can tell me what movie I'm thinking of. So if we're talking about the need, excellent. Helem, Cesar, great job. Sylvia, nice. You have the need for something. When you have the need for something, it's talking about you just must have it. You must have something that you just don't have. So you could have a need for more money. Maybe you have the need for a car. You don't have one right now. But if saying you have, in this case, the need for speed, yes, Gertrudis, excellent. Aiden, it is the movie, Marcelo, Top Gun, yeah. Starring Tom Cruise. If you haven't seen it, it's an entertaining movie from the 1980s. They fly those jets, and in one of the lines, they say that we have the need for speed. Then we have this next one, which I think is quite common. So I hope that many of you are able to guess, are able to get this one correct. I have a strong interest, education. That's something that's true. That's why I put it in there. For me, I have a strong interest, education. We're talking about the noun, an interest. So if somebody's using it as a noun, an interest, what preposition follows? It's the same if we're talking about the adjective interested. If somebody says, I'm interested, education. We're going to use the same preposition. So I think many of you know this one because it's more common that you're talking about the things you like and your interests. And you could say, I would say, I have a strong interest in education. You have an interest in something that you want to learn more about it. You want to focus more on this thing. You want to give more attention to it. You have an interest in something. Excellent. Angela, Louisa, Ubed, Shalu, Vijay. Nice. Well done. Let's continue going because, again, I want to get through as many of these as possible. Just keep practicing and practicing and practicing. The police did an investigation, the company's finances. So if you have some situation and they say, maybe you read this in a newspaper or you are watching a TV show, they're saying the police did an investigation, the company's finances. We're talking about an investigation. What preposition is going to follow that noun? An investigation, something. Oh, thank you, Marina. I'm interested in your lessons. Thank you. Great example. Interested in something. So if you're talking about an investigation, close, excellent, yes. This one may be a little more challenging because it really has to do with crime. If you don't watch many crime TV shows or movies, you might not hear this that often. Great job, Sleepwalker, Manpreet. We're talking about an investigation into something. Or you could do an investigation into someone if you're trying to discover more information about this person. But a lot of times you would talk about an investigation into something, which is an investigation. It's the act of carefully examining some crime or problem. But again, if you are somebody who watches movies or TV shows that have anything to do with the police, then you might hear this expression talking about doing an investigation into something or an investigation into someone, an investigation into. Then we have, I like that picture. He lost control, his emotions. He lost control, his emotions. So we know, you know the noun. We're talking about control. What preposition is going to follow that noun? He lost control, his emotions. And I think that is another common collocation. You're talking about control. You might hear people talk about somebody losing control. In this case, where it's the past tense, he lost control, his emotions. So this one, excellent. I think you guys rocked it. Yes. Letitia, Diego, Abdurrahman. Many of you putting a couple different answers, but the one thing I want to show you is you could use either one. You could say control of something or control over. In this case, either one of them is fine. In my opinion, I think control of is probably a little more common. If you say he lost control of his emotions, but you could use over as well. Means the same thing. He lost control of his emotions or he lost control over his emotions. And you're talking about control, which is the power that one has over, it could be another person or some situation. Control of or control over. Either one, great job. You guys knew that one. So let's look at this next one. This one, it may be a little more challenging. The hotel has a loose affiliation, local restaurants. So affiliation is a word. Hopefully you know what it means, that it's not as common as talking about control of something. But I could say in this situation, the hotel has a loose affiliation, local restaurants. And again, I think it's good to keep in mind that is also a collocation you might hear talking about a loose affiliation. So if you know what affiliation means, and you've heard this word before, hopefully you know what preposition follows it. Great job, Lolly, Sleepwalker, Dos Caballero. You're talking about an affiliation with something. An affiliation with something is a connection with some type of organization or maybe a political party, a religion, you have an affiliation with something. The hotel has a loose affiliation with local restaurants. I told you that loose affiliation is a phrase that you may hear because that just means that there's a connection, but it's not very strong. So you could use it if you could say someone has a strong affiliation with something. There is a tight connection, or a loose affiliation, which is the opposite, which means, it's very casual. It's not very, maybe very important, a loose affiliation with something. Then we have sometimes I'll try to take advantage, Black Friday sales. Black Friday it's very much a thing in the United States. I think it's spreading to many other parts of the world, but it is the Friday after Thanksgiving, which in the United States, the Thanksgiving is the fourth Thursday of November. And that next day, Friday, is called Black Friday. And there are many different sales. Things are very cheap. So you could say this statement, say, sometimes I'll try to take advantage, Black Friday sales. This is a more common expression, so hope that you guys know this one. To take advantage, something. Excellent, Russell, Gertrudis, Haninder, Mary, you take advantage of something and you are using the good things from some situation. So I could say sometimes I'll try to take advantage of Black Friday sales. I hope that all of you take advantage of these lessons and really use it as an opportunity to practice your English and practice using these prepositions. Because again, it's a great way to just fine-tune your overall fluency. So I could also, just to bring this picture back, these nouns followed by prepositions, and I could say, I think you have a good grasp, these nouns and prepositions. I think you have a good grasp, these nouns and prepositions. This one may be a little more challenging because, again, the noun is not as common. You're talking about grasp. A grasp, something. So I would tell you, yes, I think this is true. I think you have a good grasp, these nouns and prepositions. So, all right, great answer. I see you're talking about a grasp of something or a grasp on something. But many of you threw those answers in there. Either one is correct. I think I would tend to use of. But when you're talking about a grasp, in this case, you're talking about you have a good understanding of something. You have a grasp of something, or you could have a grasp on something. Personally, I think I would tend to use of more than on, but either one of them is okay. Either of those prepositions is correct if you're talking about the noun grasp. So just to show you a little review, these are all of the nouns and the prepositions that we've talked about today. And again, a great way to understand these and be able to use them correctly the next time you're speaking, you're having a conversation, or you're writing an email is like what you did today. You were practicing. You see these written right here. You're reading them right now, and you just start to take all of it in and you internalize that information. It goes into your active memory, and then you'll be able to use all of these the next time you need to. Response to, increase in, congratulations on, investigation into. So I just wanted to show you some, in case you were wanted to review a little bit and think about, oh, wait, what was that one? So this is a list of the ones that we talked about today. If you guys, again, if you enjoy what we do and you want to make another connection with us and sponsor and support Interactive English, we do have memberships right here on YouTube. You can click the join button, or we're also active on Patreon. Some cool rewards for both of them. Check out those links down in the description. But I thank you guys again. This is what I want. I just want to do these practice lessons, give you an opportunity in real time to actually not just watch a video and listen to me speak English, but really get to practice a little bit. And this is a little more grammar, vocabulary, and it's a great way to improve. So again, thank you guys for joining me. Thank you, Eddie, Aiden. Great seeing you again. Dos Caballero, Sleepwalker, Darby, Shalu, Zasvinder, Marcel. Sorry, I tried to get in as many names as I could today, but I like doing these lessons because it does give me an opportunity to acknowledge those of you who are here in the chat watching this live. So I hope you all enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stay healthy, stay safe, and I will see you next time. So long.